These videos probably be split up in two because I can only do my 15-minute videos these days with YouTube. Third topic, family. Really important. Like I said, I left a job where I was actually officially running my own business for 6 months, and I thought I was going to have it made, and then I wasn't really happy. That's sort of how the Lord delivered me, and for the first time ever, brought me back here to meet Him. And so I'm living here with my two parents, my mother and my father. I don't know where my third parent is. I never met them. And my little brother. And my little brother is 11 now. And I moved back here a year and a half or two ago. And the family in general, and with him specifically, have had some issues to deal with. But he's had a lot of things to deal with. Mostly all of his life that my parents have been really, really struck by and hit with some real blows by, family-wise, marital-wise, things like that. ODD, which is oppositional defiant disorder, OCD, ADD, ADHD, takes medication. Trying to find the right medication has always been a hassle in itself, and how things have worked. I'm sure everyone who has something in their family like this already knows where I'm getting with it, what I'm getting to, and they get it. So it can be hellish at times. It really can be. And there's been a lot of moments like that. So I struggled once I became a Christian, talking to people in my small group and whatnot about how I feel I just can't bring myself to have the patience and the love to be able to really pour out on Him and be the brother that I should be. And I think the Lord wanted me to be here to work with Him and be a part for Him. As crazy might sound, it's pretty much what my family tells me, my parent tells me, so I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but they say that too. It's just like, I'm pretty much his role model, his hero, the one he looks up to. He always wants to do things with me, and, can be a little overbearing at times, but, so I've been, teaching him about the gospel. I take him to church with me. He's into music. I think I've noticed he's getting more into music and getting down with more anything that I play these days, as opposed to being more, I don't want to listen to this in the past, so that's pretty cool. My parents, they've just been pouring their love out on me, so it's just been really opened my eyes in terms of, I feel uncomfortable being here, living here free, and everything like that, and even though I'm working all the time, I'm not here as much, and my father's first response is just, what do you mean, your family, And it's tough when you move back in with your family at 25. Like I said, you just question a lot. I think it's a manly thing. You just question a lot on your man and your worth and your value, and between that and working a job that doesn't pay as much as you'd like, and you're moving on up, it can just get to you. But they've been so supportive of me as well, so I love them for that. Of course. So my sister, I've been, it's been nice to be back home, have my family all around, and be able to spend more time in my nephew's life, Noah, who is 5 now, about to go into he'll be 5, or he is 5, or he's going to be 5 in the summer, but he'll be in kindergarten this coming September next year, in 2013. And then in October, I think it was, my niece was born. So last night I was at the house, and we had taken my nephew Noah to church with us and everything, with me, Mary, and my little brother, and we were dropping him off back at his home, and we were just hanging out. Mary and Tyra exchanged gifts. Tyra's my sister Mary and Matt. Matt's my brother-in-law, Tyra's my sister. Matt and Mary exchanged gifts because they had each other for Secret Santa in our family. And then they had a gift for me, I guess, and I wasn't sure what they were getting at with it and stuff, and they were like, oh, it's not really Christmas, but whatever, you'll see, and they decided to give it to me, and it was this shirt, which, as you can see, proud godfather of Molly Jean. Molly Jean's my niece, so it's pretty much they asked me last night, and it's an incredible honor. I didn't see it coming. I didn't really know. I guess I didn't really think about it. When their baby's born, most people don't think about it right away. Like, oh, who the god crush going to be? But I already feel like that attachment growing, and I'm so proud. So that's really exciting. So that's really big news for me, and that just happened just last night. So I've been telling people all today at work about it. So super excited. Quite an honor, and she's the most beautiful baby in the world. All right, we got through all that stuff. Last one's about my music. I started collecting vinyl in November of 2011, then when I got my record player for the first time. So, I mean, it's really 2012. It's like the major first year, pretty much. Like, it's almost all of 2012 since I've been collecting. I have around probably 300 records now, maybe a little bit more. And that's, you know, and a lot of them I do trade. And don't keep them all. The whole stack I'm going to have to give back to the Goodwill soon. But obviously it's changed my whole life with music in general. Listening to what I listen to, it's a mind blower. It's a mind blowing experience. As Mitchell, new guy on VC, has said, it's just eye opener. And I have some nice speakers, but my record player is kind of like one of the old refurbished Fisher brand player. I'm fine with it. I just have like it had like 3 different pieces of equipment, and like, you know, I borrowed from thrift stores and found them. Anyway, the speakers are good. They're Advent speakers from the 70s, so they sound great. But bottom line is that like the music sounds great, but I know that like with certain players and with record players, I think a lot of people more in the DC have the special record players. I'm sure it can sound a lot more incredible, but it sounds great to me. And because of that, one day I would like to have a better system and a better record player that costs a lot more money and really get that sound. But since it sounds good to me, I mean, the collecting in vinyl, it's all about the music for me. It's about the find, it's about the hunt, it's about the excitement of going to a Goodwill and finding something you never heard before. That's all I do is blind buys. You know, when they're affordable at a thrift store, you don't mind buying blind buys and seeing what you get. It's really about expanding the horizons for me. I don't spend that much real money, and the reason why is because I trade. So I go to thrift stores, I buy a bunch of records, and after doing it for a while, I've gotten keen with my eye for telling and seeing records and being, okay, well, I can tell this is a record that they're not going to want to take it to the store, and I can tell this is a record they're going to take it to the store. Now, out of these records that they want that I know they're going to take, do I really need this one? And then I sacrifice it. And I think, you know, there's pluses and minuses, but right now it's a lot more pluses in my life. Obviously, there's some ones that maybe I can look back on one day and, like, you know, maybe end up getting it again one day and be like, alright, I give it the first time. But, you know, it keeps me in check, too, by not going overboard with, like, overflowing my collection. And I'll trade in, like, 10 to 15 records, and then I'll have enough money to get some really nice ones, maybe have 4 or 5 or 6 instead, so it cuts it down there, and then I go from there. I just can't afford the money with everything else I have to do with bills and where I'm at right now in my job to be able to go buy new records with real money. So I've taken my entire CD collection from the past, except for some particulars I would never give up, and all of my Blu-ray collection that I had when I had my last job, way before I moved back here, and I spent money on a Best Buy card that's screwing me over right now. I took all of those Blu-rays, every one of them, and I've broken it down to pretty much everything now that I trade are things that I buy now from thrift stores, and so everything I used to have that were, like, you know, in the piles, I have already traded in. So now it becomes more thrift stores. I don't hardly buy new records that much anymore. It's all thrift stores, and I'm happy with that. I just keep on going and getting lucky, and then when I get lucky, I do, you know, I usually, when I have to, I can come up with some good stuff and make some sacrifices when I want to go to the record store and I have an urge. But that's really how I do my shopping. Now, another thing that's been great in the year 2012 is after getting rid of all those CDs I had, how dumb of me, now I'm collecting CDs again. I've re-gotten myself into the collector spirit. So, you know, as opposed to the iTunes and the MP3 and the digital, of course, which is still great, but so now I do go to stores, CDs from the stores and Goodwills, and where they're $1 or sometimes 50 cents at the Goodwill outlet, and I buy that. I'm very particular with what I keep. So I have 2 piles over here of CDs like that are this big of a pile that I'm going to give back that I don't like that much. I have stacked up on my windowsill right now probably around 20 albums that out of all the CDs I've gotten are ones I've never heard of, or ones that are really classic, and ones that are just precious that I know I want to have. So I'm being more particular with my CD collection so that everything is a top-notch thing to pick from. And something that, you know, I never heard of, that's a great thing. That, like, you know, I want my CD collection to be different. And that's so with someone or me and Mary have a place once we were married one day. If someone comes over and they're looking through CD collection, they can pop something out and be like, man, this looks cool, I never heard of this, let's put that on. And of course you throw Joni Mitchell's Blue in there for good measures, right? Or the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack. So that's been really exciting, getting myself back into the CD collection, but being very particular and doing it all through thrift stores only. So those blind buys are fun. Yeah, genres, everything. Pretty much everything's up for grabs. I have some country. Yeah, I guess I'm saying country right away because I'm talking about the things that are, the things like most people usually will say country first and talk about things they never really listen to much at all, What was I just going to show? Oh, like this one, for example, is a great country record I just found I showed recently. Chris Christopherson, The Silver-Tongued Devil and I. That's more like country-like. It's a great record, so that's expanding my horizons there. And I found this. I was just showing this in the thrift store Facebook group that Timothy Smith has made. Spirit of St. Louis, Louis McVeigh. This was recent because what happened is, I'm going to end on this note, Christian rock and Christian music from the 70s and early 70s through the mid-late 80s, a lot of it's really just corny and bad and sounds too similar. And after a while, sometimes if I'm very picky, I would pick something out that looked really cool. But otherwise, I don't. I found this blog recently, and this kid had found out that his niche was finding really good Christian rock albums from that time period, and he made this compilation of 80s music. So it's funny because the compilation album was called Sandals and Mustache for Jesus. So it's all like yacht rock type of stuff, and I actually find it really cool though. Some really cool grooves in there. So it's sort of like, and he talked about how Japanese buyers in Japan and Korea and stuff are so crazy about Christian rock records. If they're rare, they'll pay anywhere from $200 to $500 for them on eBay, and he gets that. So between that and the music, I got inspired to say, hey, you know what? Spend the 50 cents, pick it up anyway. You never know. So that's what I'm doing. And this one was one of the ones that was really great. That kind of surprised me, especially on the first side. And it's on Maranatha from 1978. Spirit of St. Louis, Louis McVeigh. So yeah, just overall, expanding. So Vinyl Community is great, so nothing but great things for me. I'm a fan of the Facebook group and a fan of the YouTube. I'm a fan of the family and the friends. I'd really like to meet with a lot more people someday, taking trips somewhere and seeing people on the way. I will be meeting up with Chris soon, Dixieland Farm. Super excited about that. We don't live that far away, so I'm making a plan, hopefully for the third week of January. We're trying to do that with the two couples. So that should be great, see his farm, and I'm actually super excited about that. I don't think he knows that I'm pretty much like a man crush date I'm looking forward to with him. And of course his wife. So yeah, thank you for watching this. I know it's been long, and I know it wasn't mostly music, but I'm sure there's some people out there who are just interested in me, just the way I'm interested in them with life. So I appreciate that. Alright guys? I probably won't make another video until maybe the end of the new year, unless I have some crazy record haul that comes out of nowhere. So otherwise, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I don't really know the history behind Kwanzaa. I probably should know, but if you celebrate it, that's great too. Happy holidays. And have a happy new year. Be safe. Don't get too drunk if that's what you do. Just try to be proper. Don't drink and drive. And let's just keep all those people from recently with Connecticut in our spirits and just remember them around New Year's Eve and just, do the right thing. Alright? One love, guys. Love the Vinyl Community. I couldn't be more excited for the year 2013. Bring it on.